We've reached the halfway stage over in the World Cup qualifying campaign over in Asia, with Iran and Saudi Arabia leading the charge in their respective groups. But will they be there at the end of this coming match day? We'll take a look next. That's like once again another prediction video today with a photo match number 6 over in Asia, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe and keep your bang out to all things World Cup related, Lebanon related, world football related. We're going to all here, boys. And one Ruski. That's right, it is Iran, Saudi Arabia at the moment, but it is very tight at the top of the tables, of course, over in Asia, with, of course, South Korea and Australia breathing down their necks. Either of those four nations could, of course, interchange, be top of the respective groups heading into match number, of course, 7. But, of course, we'll talk all about that in a minute. A big shout out to my VIPs. Who are they? They are the Patreons, boys and girls. Thank you for your loving. If you want to help us out in the channel, check out the link down below, patreon.com/Rosies, where any support is graciously received, and you can renew my best mate for life. Of course. Check it all out then, shall we? Of course, here we go. Here we go. Of course, recap the games that took place this past couple of days. Of course, over in Asia, here we go. South Korea picked up, I think they won against UAE. That's right, United Arab Emirates. Of course, they struggle yet to get a win. 1-0 win in the end for South Korea, moving up to second in the table. Lebanon, they have lost to Iran. Of course, it was pretty much a given in the end. 2-1 win for Iran. But Lebanon actually remain in third. I don't know. I think that's probably due to goal difference, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know why. I didn't see that before. But anyway, Iraq, typical draw against Syria. Of course, 1-1 in the end. Big point on the road for Syria. Maybe if they can start winning some home games, they might be in the conversation here. But yeah, so not great for them at the moment. Anyway, kicking off for Australia and Saudi Arabia did a 0-0 draw. Vietnam did lose to Japan, of course, a big win for them, moving up to third in the table. And of course, China and Oman duked it out to a 1-1 draw as well. Did pretty shitty on my picks, but what about you guys? Here we go. Have a look at it. Is Winky. Well done to you and James FC the Great and Gaming Charlie. All got themselves 5 there out of what, 6? Is that right? You guys are bloody criminal. Well done to you. Of course, what about the grand scheme of things? Well, here we go with the grand scheme leaderboard. It is Shepherd at the moment, 22 points on the board. Iman Hussein, Winky's up there in the top 3, and of course the chasing pack. That's, of course, how much did Shepherd get on that one? Then he got 4, so he's not too far away. All right, then. Of course, that's those results. Of course, if you want to get involved, free to enter, get involved at Cutley4/WC22 Asia. Get in amongst it, put your picks in, and happy days. Let's get into the next round of matches then. But before that is a recap of the tables. This is what it looks like fresh off the press here. Iran are top of the pops, 2 points clear over South Korea. And, of course, Lebanon are in third. Of course, those top 3 would go through to the World Cup in Qatar, but it is very tight from third down to 6. Anybody can still sneak in there. I think Iran and South Korea are pretty much home and hose, yet to taste defeat as well. Meanwhile, Group B is kind of similar, a bit more tight though, a bit more what do we say, difficult to call here. Saudi Arabia look good. Australia look also pretty solid. Japan as well, though, as they try to compete to get into that second spot. So maybe the top 3 are pretty much set in stone there, but maybe Oman have got other thoughts. Winning a couple of games, of course, a win here could see them go to second in the table, depending on what happens with Australia and go. So it's still very tight, but I think in the third round in Group A, anything can happen in that remaining third spot. But of course, that's that. So let's take a look at the next round of matches. Kicking it all off with Lebanon up against United Arab Emirates, of course. So he must win, I think, for Lebanon here to get themselves into the thick of things. Played each other 4 times in 2011. 1 win for Lebanon, 2 for UAE. And 1 draw. Lebanon comes to just 1 win in 5 for them, 50% form for them right now. Meanwhile, UAE without a win in 5 also. 42% form for them at the moment. Actually, 1 win in 6 for them, of course. Lebanon's biggest win over UAE was a 3-1 win. The biggest win, otherwise a 4-2 win. Of course, UAE and Lebanon played in the United Arab Emirates back in September. So a 0-0 draw. Last time they played in Lebanon was a 3-1 win way back in 2011, of course, going in favour of Lebanon. Of course, Lebanon did lose to Iran. Of course, UAE picked up a defeat against Korea. Look at the odds on this one. We have 11-4 is your Lebanon, 11-10 is your UAE. They are your favourites. 21-10 is your draw. This is at home. This is over in Lebanon. I've gone with a 1-0 win for the hosts on this one to give us a bigger win, and that is massive with their grand dream of making Qatar 2022. Kicking off over Iraq up against South Korea, of course, over in Iraq. Played each other 7 times in 2006. 2 was Iraq, 3 for South Korea, and 2 draws. Iraq coming to just 1 defeat, the last 5 for them. 33% form, however, no wins in 6. Wow, what does that all mean? That means 4 draws in the past 5 games. Meanwhile, South Korea coming to 83% form for them at the moment. Haven't lost in the last 8 games. Goodness gracious me, winning 4 and drawing 2 of the last 6. Their biggest win over Iraq was a 3-0 win. The biggest win was a 4-3 win. Of course, last time around, of course, they played each other in Korea. It was back in September 2021. It was a 0-0 draw. Last time they played in Iraq also was a 0-0 draw. It was a friendly way back in June 2017. Iraq picked up a draw against Syria last time around. Of course, Korea picked up a win over UAE last time around. Look at the odds on this one. 5-1 is your Iraq. 2013 on is your South Korea. They are your red hot favourites, and 12-5 is your draw. One more draw though for me on this one. Bit of a surprise, but of course we'll see about that. Next, of course, Syria up against red hot favourites Iran. Of course, they played each other 8 times 2006. No wins for Syria, 4 wins for Iran, and 4 draws. Biggest win for Iran was an 5-0 win over Syria. Because Syria come to this without a win in at least 6 games, picking up 4 defeats and 2 draws. Meanwhile, Iran came to this unbeaten in the last 11 games, picking up 5 wins and a draw in the last 6. 92% form for them at the moment. Last time around, of course, they played each other in Iran, which was just a 1-0 win. Of course, last time they played each other in Syria, there was a 0-0 draw way back in November 2016. Of course, that was a World Cup qualifying campaign for Russia. Of course, coming at you though, Syria did draw with Iraq 1-1. Of course, Lebanon picked up a loss as well against Iran last time around. Look at the odds on this one. What do we have on this one? We have Syria. We have 30-2 for the host of this one. 2-1 on is your Iran. 40-5 is your draw. Iran red hot favourites. 2-0 win for me to take it to the house. What else do we have? Of course, China up against Australia. Or do we? I can't see this one at the moment. It's a little bit strange. I'm going to go after deep into the nether regions here and see what's going on about this one. There we go. We do have it. Of course, it looks like it's going to take place. Played each other 6 times 2007. 2 was for China, 3 for Australia, 1 draw. Of course, China coming to this just 1 minute 5 day, 42% form. Meanwhile, Australia just 1 defeat, about 75% form for the moment. Of course, China's biggest win. No, Australia 4-3 win. The biggest other way was a 3-0 win last time around. Of course, in Australia was a 3-0 win back in September 2021. Of course, China picked up a loss though last time around in China way back in 2015. It was a 2-0 win for Australia. Of course, look at the matches heading into this one. Of course, China picked up a draw against Oman. Australia did draw with Saudi Arabia 0-0 in the end. Of course, I have basic odds on this one. Basic odds going in favour of Australia. They are the favourites on the road. China year long shots. For me though, I think I've gone with a 2-2 draw. That's right, point split right down the middle. I think China will take that at the moment. Meanwhile, Australia will also be happy by, of course, remaining get a point on the road. And next up, of course, we have Vietnam. They're going to take on Saudi Arabia as well. Of course, this is in Group B. Played each other just the 1 time since 2021. Of course, it was a win for Saudi Arabia. Of course, Saudi Arabia coming to this unbeaten in the last 6 matches. Of course, picking up 92% form, 5 wins and a draw. Up against Vietnam, 6 defeats on the bounce at the very least. Of course, the last time around, of course, it was a 3-1 win for Saudi Arabia in Saudi Arabia. Of course, Vietnam then did lose to Japan last time around. Of course, Australia did draw with Saudi Arabia last time around. Of course, the odds on this one, what do we have on this? We have Vietnam 10-1 for the victory, 3-1 on Saudi Arabia, 7-2 is your draw. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Saudi Arabia on the road, and again, edging closer to Qatar 2022. And then finally, we have Oman up against Japan again, in Group B. Played each other 7 times, 2008, 1 for Oman, 5 wins for Japan, and 1 draw. Oman come to this 1 win in the past 4, 58% form. Meanwhile, Japan come to this just 1 defeat in the past 4 for them as well, 67% form at the moment. Their biggest win over Oman was a 4-0 win. The biggest other way was a 1-0 win. Of course, last time around in Japan was a 1-0 win for Oman. Good discretion me. That was back in September 2021. Big win for Oman as well. Last time they played each other in Oman, there was a 1-0 win for Japan, so maybe they can reverse the results on this one as well. Look at the odds on this one. We got Oman coming at you 72 for the victory, 5-2 on is Japan. They are your favourites, 10-3 is your draw. Maybe a bit of revenge on the agenda for Japan. 2-1 win for me to take it to the house. That's my picks. Be sure to get your own picks as well in Cutley/WC22 Asia. That's of course to look forward to. But that, my friends, is just about that's right. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please give it some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, and of course I'm on Patreon as well. If you want to show some love in that regard, check it all out from as little to as much as you like. But that is it, my folks. We'll be back, of course, for the next round of matches. I think it might be in January, maybe. I don't know. Well, can we? I don't know. I don't have the data with me at the moment. But of course, we'll be back for the next round of matches. Of course, despite the World Cup qualifying campaigns easing up elsewhere around the world, it still keeps on going in Japan, so in Asia as well. So we won't know the results until maybe March, I think. So, but that's it, my friends. Be sure to give us some love, and I'll see you soon for the next one, whenever that might be.